Welcome back, guys, to hashtag AskBRP. My name is Seth Marcus. This is episode number 20. This week, I'm actually broadcasting myself live on Periscope while I'm making this video. Right there. And so if you want, you can check this out later. You can see myself mess up and some outtakes, etc. If you want to search for me on Periscope, just go on Twitter and actually just go on Periscope and just search at bocaratonpawn. I think Periscope and Twitter are the same company, so that's how you'll find me. So this week I'm going to review a specific watch. It's a Rolex Daytona two-tone with a black dial. It's the more recent model Daytona with an updated clasp and more modern reference number, 116523. But before I review the particular watch I'm speaking about, let's go through a history of the Daytona. It was introduced in 1963, a year after Rolex decided to sponsor the NASCAR race in Daytona, Florida. The watch was inspired by racing drivers and is worn by racing drivers all over the world still today. Today, the tachometer around the bezel and the chronograph functions to time aren't used all the time by the people who wear the watch. They're mostly there for aesthetics, but it does keep in tune with the racing origin of the watch. So here's the watch we are talking about, the two-tone Daytona. And the first thing I notice about this watch is the amazing dark black dial that it has. Rolex uses a lot of shades of different colors on their watches. For example, on a Rolex Milgauss, let's get it out of the drawer, compare the two blacks. Actually, in this light they look the same, but in a lighter light, the black on the Milgauss can actually look a little gray, and the black on the Daytona just stays super dark no matter what light it's in. Rolex likes to use different shades on different watches just to give them a little bit different feel. So now we can talk about the case of the watch. The case is actually all stainless steel. The bezel is yellow gold, and the crown guards are yellow gold, but the case itself is 904L stainless steel. 904L is a stainless steel that Rolex uses for their watches. It's very strong and resistant to scratching. It's 40 millimeters, which is a standard men's size these days. But what's interesting about the Daytona is that if you actually take a measuring tape out and measure the case, it's really a little bit over 39 millimeters. I think Rolex says the watch is 40 millimeters because some people, when they hear 39, think of a very, very small watch. And when it gets to 40, it just sounds better. But compared to like a Submariner, which is truly 40, or some other Rolexes that are actually 40 millimeters, the Daytona wears a little bit smaller on the wrist. And that's because if you really do measure it, it's a bit smaller than 40 millimeters. Next up, we can talk about the bracelet on the Daytona. Is an oyster bracelet. Rolex calls this style oyster. On all Daytonas, they will feature an oyster bracelet. There's also a flip-lock deployment clasp. You just flip that up for safety, and then take this off here. On the 16523, the previous model, the clasp was similar, but did not function as well and wasn't as smooth. This one just feels more solid and like it won't fall off your wrist. So the bracelet, as you can see, has solid 18 karat running through the center of stainless steel links. A lot of watches sometimes they plate actually this instead of making it solid, but on a Rolex these are solid 18 karat yellow gold. And the oyster bracelet compared to like the Jubilee or the President bracelet is a little bit more sporty, which makes sense for the Daytona. So on the wrist, the Daytona wears very nicely due to its relatively small case size and it's actually pretty thin for a Rolex if you look at it from the side. It wears very well. If you have it on for a little bit, you might even forget it's on. It's very easy to wear. It's definitely an everyday watch because of the sporty bracelet and just the sporty face of the watch, as you can see. It's a great watch overall, and if you're looking for something that you can wear every day, or also with a suit, the two-tone Rolex with the Daytona with a black dial would be perfect for you. So thank you guys for watching my Rolex Daytona review. Remember to follow me please on Instagram at bocaratonpawn. You can find us also on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com, search Boca Pawn Shop. Our username on Snapchat, which we're having a lot of fun with, is BRP, stands for Boca Raton Pawn, BRP Luxury. And you can see some behind the scenes stuff of us, like this video on Periscope. Just search us at Boca Raton Pawn there as well. Thank you everybody for watching, and speak to you again soon.